Hey, welcome to the video. In this video, I want to show you how to make a Ministry Grid account, how to access the curriculum within Ministry Grid, and how to access some of the training in Ministry Grid. So Ministry Grid is the software that our curriculum uses to distribute their resources. When you join a classroom, you'll get an email that looks kind of like this in your email. It's from Ministry Grid. It says, welcome to the Gospel Project Kids, or preschool, or whatever. You'll click on that. It will look like this. The Gospel Project, Bruce Baker from City on the Hill Community Church has added you to the Gospel Project Kids. And then there's a kids worship. We don't have a kids worship classroom right now, so this is an easy one for me to play with. You would click this Get Started link. If you already have an account, it'll take you to this page and you could log in. If you don't have an account yet, you can register. It's, basically like every other thing you've ever registered for. You put in an email and you put in the password and all that jazz. It'll look like this. Confirm you're not a robot, sign in. Now, I already have a Grid account, so I'm just going to log in. And my computer remembers my passwords because I can't. And we're in. Once you log in, it'll look like this. And I have a few more classrooms than you probably will. But I have a kids and I have a preschool. Again, you will know which one you're in. If you're in the pre-K room, you'll have a preschool classroom invite. And if you are in the first and second grade or third and fourth grade, you will be in the kids section. Find the week that you're teaching. So if you're the kind of person who likes to plan ahead, you can look as far ahead, looks like as May. And you could click on that. But let's just go to this week. Let's say you're teaching on March 6th and you're like me, so you don't plan more than one day ahead, and you're probably going to look at this on a Saturday. Click on that. Again, make sure you know you're in the kids or the preschool. They're both the same lesson, roughly. They just have adaptations for age appropriate levels. All right, so within the kids, this is important. There's a younger kids section. You'll see younger kids, if you're following my mouse. And then there's an older kids section, and then there's a preteen section. We use the preteen section for the third and fourth graders. And we use the younger kids section for our first and second graders. So, if you are teaching in the preteen room, you will click Leader Guide of the preteen section. Wait for it to load. You can also download it up here. You don't have to. You can read it off your browser. And this will be a really helpful part for you. This write-up right here. It just kind of gives you the overview of what's going on, and then it gives you the Christ connection. The Gospel Project tries really hard to not only teach them Bible stories, but to connect those Bible stories with the greater story that the Bible is telling, which ultimately centers on Jesus. And so every lesson will help kids understand that story, how that story connects with what has gone on so far in the scriptures, and connect it to Jesus and what he has done, will do, and continues to do. So that's super important that you are comfortable explaining those things as the teacher. And if you're an assistant and you just like to know what's going on, then again, I would recommend you read that. You obviously don't need to be as confident in your ability to communicate that, but you'll still be answering questions for the kids, and so it helps to know what's going on. You'll see that there's a welcome time. For most of you, this is probably familiar. If you've looked over the curriculum before, we print off this leader guide for you every Sunday. This is just the digital version. Pick a starter. I will try to prep the classrooms each week for both options, but if there's something that's kind of just really out there, like a bunch of paint, and I probably just will skip it, just because we don't usually have the time in our classrooms for those sort of activities, plus the prep and the level of effort that has to go into preparing stuff like that. It's just kind of exhausting. So if you are reading ahead and there's something you really want to do and it sounds like there's a lot of work that might be involved in the prep, just let me know. Send me a text, hey Bruce, we really want to do the make a rainbow out of duct tape or something, and I'll make it happen if you feel strongly about it. I want to empower you as a teacher to have some creativity, and I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy those things. So just know that for your own use. All right, then we get to the learn section. This is how to tell the Bible story. We have videos that do a great job explaining the Bible story, so you don't necessarily have to use this section. Let me see. It says read from Joshua 1. What does the story teach us about God? I'm going to edit that. All right, so now we're in the Tell the Bible Story section. For the preteens, there is no video. They're expected to read through the Bible, and the teachers who teach in the 3rd and 4th grade room prefer it that way, right? 3rd and 4th grade teachers, you don't want to mess with the videos. So that's theirs. It's a little bit more stripped down. Our younger kids will have videos, and we'll go over their leader guides next. So it continues, leader guide, love. The love section emphasizes a love for God. It tries to connect with the emotional qualities of the story. As you know, so we've kind of got the nuts and bolts in the learn section. The love section tries to connect the head and the heart. Then the live section tries to help us understand how do these truths not only impact our mind and our heart, but how do they motivate us to action? And then you're done. All right, so I'm going to go back, click the back button, and that takes us back to our kids section. If you're with younger kids, that'd be the 1st and 2nd grade room, you want to click this leader guide. Leader guide, younger kids. Click that. Very similar in format. We'll let it load here. And you will want to read this stuff. It'll tell you the memory verse. It'll tell you the big picture question, the Christ connection. These are all things that we're trying to help the kids memorize, because a lot of these kids may not be able to quite have the cognitive ability to really resonate with these stories. Some do, some don't. But all of them can benefit from memorizing verses, memorizing truths from the scriptures that will someday be of great value to them, even though they might not understand it at the moment. So we try to give them tools in the toolbox for their whole lives. Leader Bible study. You're going to want to read this if you are teaching or assisting. It just helps you get a heads up on what's going on. Then you want to gather supplies. This part, I do all this for you, or I have volunteers help me with this throughout the week. So hopefully we have everything for you. If there's, like I said earlier, if there's anything really crazy in here that's just going to be expensive or too much work, then we usually cut it out. So if you're reading something and it sounds like a lot, we probably won't have stuff for it. If it's something you really want to do, reach out. We'll make it happen. Welcome, kids. Just what's helpful with the younger kids guides is they give you kind of the explanation for what's going on, and then they give you a script. You don't have to use the script, but if you're new to teaching, it can be really helpful just to see, or I guess read, a model of what to do in this situation. So even I find them helpful, and I've been helping out in KidCity for a while. So then you have your opener. Pick one. You have two options. Story introduction, big picture question. So the younger kids, the lesson is a little bit more complicated than the older kids for you who are teaching. So again, that kind of is because we're doing the memorization, because we're doing all that. So we're going to open up with an introduction to the story. We're going to do the big picture question. That's something that the kids are memorizing. It's a doctrinal truth that we're trying to help them memorize. And again, they might not quite understand it fully at this point, but we hope in 5, 6, 7 years, 30 years even, that they will be able to pull this from their memory and say, wow, that actually makes a big difference in how I understand God, how I live my life, all those good things. Then we review the timeline, so we help them see how today's story connects with the story of the Bible as a whole. Then we learn the Bible story, and then the Bible story ends with a Christ connection. This is where we connect the story thus far to the ultimate story, the story of Jesus. Then we have questions from kids. This is for 1st and 2nd grade only, but there are questions that are recorded from children around the world and children who have gone through these lessons before, and so it kind of tries to anticipate questions that your kids might have and encourage discussion. Then there's a missions moment, which will usually come with a video or a picture or something, and we're just trying to help kids understand the value of missionaries and being missional, pursuing the mission of God. Then we do the key passage activity. Typically, this will include reading the Bible verse, the key passage, and singing the song. The songs come with motions, and as cheesy as they are such a powerful tool for memorization. So I would encourage you to just throw off any inhibition you might have about dancing around with the 1st and 2nd graders and really get into it, because it can be such a powerful tool to help them, even if the motions are silly and they feel silly doing them. They help create those neuro pathways in their brains and just helps them, those verses sink into their hearts and souls so much better. Then we pray over the lesson, and then we transition into love, which is, again, where we try to connect the head and the heart. And then live, where we connect what does this mean for how we live our lives, and then we close in prayer. All right, finally, if you are a pre-K teacher, when you log into Ministry Grid, you'll see something like this, except for you'll see this preschool section. Click on the date you're teaching. Very similar, leader guide, older preschool. We use the older preschool version. You'll see if you scroll down a younger, oh maybe not. Okay, only older preschool is available. Excellent. You'll click the leader guide for older preschool. And again, I'm not going to run through this a third time, but very similar to the last two. And you'll see all the good stuff. So, all right, that's Ministry Grid. That's the general stuff that you need to know. If you're someone who wants to plan even further ahead or get a better idea of what's going on before you teach, or maybe you're just a new teacher and so you want to put in a little bit more prep time, I would scroll down to the bottom here and you can actually see all of the videos, and you can download the videos that we will use this session. So you have the Bible story here with Megan, and she has a puppet named Jesse. And then this is the song that we will sing and dance to, and the mission video. So you can watch those things ahead of time. And I will go over how to teach with the iPad at our training this Sunday. And really every year I'll go over how to teach with the iPads, because I know that's intimidating for most of us. So key takeaways. If you need a Ministry Grid account, let me know and I will send you the email. It'll look like this. You click Get Started. It will take you to Ministry Grid where you can log in or make an account. Once you have an account, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Every week, you're just going to want to bookmark Ministry Grid, because you're going to have to access this on a weekly basis when you teach. So instead of saying, hey, Bruce, can you send me that Ministry Grid account link again? Which I actually don't mind doing, but it's probably inconvenient for you. So if you want to just bookmark that somewhere, put it on your desktop, or just remember Ministry Grid by Lifeway, that should get you to the login page. So once you're there, you click the week you're teaching. So let's say you're teaching March 20th. You get in there. Remember, if you're first and second grade, you're younger kids category. And if you're teaching the third and fourth grade, you're in the preteen category. And if you are in the preschool, you are in the preschool and the older preschool category. So leader guides are at the top, and at the bottom are all the videos for the week. I hope you find that helpful.